Welcome to the Dietitian Side Hustle podcast. My name is Katie Dodd, and I am a nutrition entrepreneur. But here's the catch. I have a full-time traditional dietitian job. My entrepreneurial endeavors are my side hustle. I've been making six figures through my job and side hustle doing things that I love. If I can do it, you can too. This podcast is for dietitians, interns, and students who want to be inspired to start or perfect the side hustle of their dreams. Let's do this. Welcome to the 40th episode of the Dietitian Side Hustle podcast, Audit Your Habits. Now, before I dive into today's topic, I wanted to tell you guys about my weekend. So the first weekend in June of 2021, I went to the most amazing conference for healthcare professionals, entrepreneurs, all about business, and it was called Smart Success Healthcare Live. It was put on by my personal business coach, Greg Todd, who is a physical therapist, and I will tell you, it was the most amazing and inspirational event that I have been to date. You know, I feel like most of the conferences I go to as a dietitian are really focused on getting continuing education credit and learning different things about medical nutrition therapy, science, all the things. But this was the first time I actually went to a conference that was dedicated solely to my personal and professional development, improving my business skills, bettering my ability to serve you all. So it was a really exciting conference. I learned so much, and I'm actually going to be increasing the frequency of these podcast episodes. So if you are a longtime listener, thank you so much for listening. You probably know I go on every 2 weeks, so just twice a month, but I'm going to be focusing on trying to come to you guys on a weekly basis. We'll see how long I can keep this going, but I want to try to serve you guys more and more. I'm also including some video. We'll see how much I keep this up, but if you are listening on the podcast, if you go to my YouTube channel, you will be able to find this as well there. So yeah, let's dive into today's episode, which is all about auditing your habits. Now, my business coach, Greg Todd, is all about habits right now. He talked about them a lot at the conference, and it just really has been this continual conversation over previous weeks of mastermind with him. And really the concept is your habits are what make you. Your habits are those things that you do on a regular basis. You often do them without thinking. You do them regardless of the circumstances in your life. And we all have habits that are really good habits and maybe not so good habits. And I just want to give you a few examples of what these habits might look like. So think about when you wake up in the morning. Now, maybe you're not like me and not like most people, but most of us, when we first wake up in the morning, what do we grab? We grab our phone. So think about it. If you grab your phone first thing in the morning, what's your thumb do? What does your thumb do on autopilot? We all have our own thing that we do. I can tell you, I swipe up, I go into a file. First, I check my Google Analytics, and then I check my Mediavine, which is to find out how much money I made the day before in ad revenue on my blog. Then I go into my Gmail. I go through 3 different Gmail accounts. I go to my Yahoo email, which is my personal one. I might hop on Facebook. I might hop on Instagram. Like, my thumb has a pattern. It is muscle memory. I do this almost every morning. Is it the best thing to be doing? I don't know. We'll have a conversation about that, but it's what I do. So when it comes to something like, let's stay in line with social media, because I'm talking about being on my phone. When you are on social media, I just want you to consider, when you are on social media, let's talk about Instagram. When you're on Instagram, are you there to consume or to produce? So is your habit one based in consumption or production? What I mean by that is, when you're on Instagram, are you using it for your side hustle? Are you using it to connect with peers, to share information, to find your ideal client, to really promote what you're doing? Like, are you using Instagram as a tool to help you further your side hustle, further your business? Or do you solely use it for consumption? Meaning you read all the things, you're scrolling, you're tapping, you're really just using it for your own personal entertainment. And if you do consumption, that's okay, but do you have any limits on it? I recently, about a year ago, learned about how you can go into your phone and find out how long you are on different apps in your phone, and it was really eye-opening to me, because I didn't think I was on my phone as much as I was. Phones have really become an addiction in our society, and it's not to say anything like, oh my gosh, it's so horrible you're on your phone. We're all doing it, and even those who say, oh no, I'm not on my phone a lot, once we actually dive in, most people are. But I think it's really important when it comes to, starting your side hustle, growing your side hustle, doing all these entrepreneurial things that you either are doing or want to do. It's really important that you audit your habits, that you look at all of those things that you're doing on a regular basis and really figure out, do those habits serve me or do they not serve me? And this also comes in line with those habits you want to create. Maybe you want to start something in your side hustle. You want to start doing some freelance writing. You want to start blogging. You want to start reaching out to different companies to try to get, some speaking gigs, doing some webinars. But it's just this idea in your head, and you keep thinking about it, and you don't do it. And you're like, man, I need to instill some habits in my life to where on a regular basis, I'm reaching out to companies. On a regular basis, I am writing. You want to set these habits to help your side hustle and help your business, because again, your habits make you. So if you want to have a successful side hustle, you need to have good habits. So it's not just a matter of what are habits that maybe aren't the best habits, but what are those habits that you should be starting? So when I was at this conference, my business coach talked about auditing your habits, and that's what I want to talk to you guys about today. I'm going to share with you guys my little audit that I did on the flight home and encourage you guys to do an audit as well. So when it comes to auditing your habits, it really comes down to taking a piece of paper and writing down all of your habits. Now, this is going to sound kind of silly, but think of every single thing that you do every day, regardless. It doesn't matter how you feel. It doesn't matter what's going on. These are these things you do on a regular basis. You're going to do them no matter what. So write those all down. And they don't just have to be about business. They could be about, I brush my teeth every day, like everything that you do on habit, because I think it's important to think as we're trying to build new habits on like, man, why can't I commit to doing this thing? Maybe I just can't do it. Maybe it's not in me. Well, yeah, it is. Look at those things you do every day regardless, because all of you have them. Trust me, you do. So sometimes we have to write down those things that may sound silly, completely unrelated to business, because it really gets your brain in that thinking mode of like, wait, I do have habits. I do have things that I do on a regular basis. So let's dig deep into this. So when you write all of those habits down, and, I talk about every day, but, maybe you have weekly habits that you do too. Maybe you have different habits on the weekend as you do on the work day, whatever it is, just write it down. Then once you have them all listed, that's when you audit. You go write down and I actually just put like a check and then like an X. I don't know if that makes sense. But what I did was I was auditing each habit. So each one I looked at and I asked myself, does this habit serve me? Yes or no? So what do I mean by serve me? Does this habit benefit me? Is this a habit? Yeah, that's a good one. Or is that a habit that maybe I should not have? So I'm going to share with you guys some of my habits. One of these I didn't want to share with you guys, but I'm sharing it all. So here are my habits when I wrote them down. And I didn't like get super crazy, but I wrote down this list. So I've got a habit of I typically go to bed between 9 and 11 o'clock every night. I used to be very consistent with that time. It's spread out, but I'm still pretty consistent with that time frame. I have a habit of I grab my phone first thing when I wake up. I use my phone as an alarm clock. And once I turn off that alarm, my thumb just goes on autopilot. I start clicking the things, reading the things. And if I don't watch myself, I can be in bed for an hour on my phone. The next thing I do is I brush and floss every day. That's something I do every day, like always. Another habit, I drink coffee first thing in the morning. That's one of the first things I do after I get out of bed. Oh, I should say I get out of bed. I put in my contacts and then I head in the kitchen and I drink my coffee. So another habit I have is taking my medication because, gotta take my meds. I let my dog out to go pee every day. He's got to use the bathroom. That's something I do every day regardless. I check my apps on my phone way too many times. I put like 1,000+ times. I know I'm being dramatic, but I check my phone too much. I do know that. Another thing I do, and this is the piece I didn't really want to share, but I also watch General Hospital, like every episode. My grandma watched General Hospital, my mom watched General Hospital, and I watched General Hospital. I had a hot minute, a few years where I didn't watch it, but I've pretty much been consistently watching this soap opera since I was a teenager. So, definitely not a piece that I like to say I do, because that is... Number one, it's just silly. It's a soap opera, whatever. But it's also a huge time suck. I actually did the math, and it's about 3.5 hours every week that I'm spending watching a soap opera. I mean, sometimes I'm doing laundry while I watch it, but still, it's time that really, it's a habit. Somehow I managed to find time to do it. Let's see. I also have a habit when I am on a walk or if I'm driving, I, turn on the Bluetooth and I typically call my parents and catch up with them. So I have these habits. I have these things I do, all the time. Those are just some of the ones I listed. Then I went back and I listed, does this habit serve me or does it not serve me? So, and I also put some notes, like my bedtime. I really feel like I need to be more consistent with that bedtime because the time I go to bed really it matters when it comes to when I'm going to wake up. And I like waking up early. I like waking up before my kids so I can get stuff done to take care of myself, take care of my mind, do some side hustle stuff, and just do all the things that make me feel good. So I have to be consistent on my bedtime or else you can't wake up, or at least I don't want to wake up because, not getting enough sleep we know is bad for our health, right? I'm not going to run the risk of having poor health by running on a consistent sleep deficit. So getting good sleep is important to me. So that's a habit I have, but I definitely can change that. Getting on my phone when I wake up, I just need to stop doing that. I need to get back to a good morning routine. I used to have a better one. I feel like, I don't know about you guys, but I feel like pandemic threw me all off, when I was so used to waking up in the morning, going into the office, and then when it transitioned to working from home, like all of those habits just got real wonky. So, and I still haven't got them back to normal. So when it comes to coffee first thing, so this is actually something I made the decision that I'm going to quit coffee. Today is my first day without coffee, and let me tell you why I'm quitting it. When I ask the question, does it serve me? I'm not one of those people in the morning who are like, I need my coffee to function. I must have it to wake up. I actually wake up like probably annoyingly cheery and happy. I'm a morning person. And I drink coffee out of habit. I don't drink it because I need it, but I will tell you, my body's addicted to coffee. If I don't drink it, I will get a headache. So it almost, when I was thinking about coffee, I'm like, well, it's kind of annoying because if I'm busy or and I'm in a hurry, I still got to go drink that cup of coffee or else I'm going to have a headache that's going to impact me for the rest of the day. So me personally, I'm like, I need to quit coffee. And I've done it before. I've had seasons where I've been on decaf and I don't know how I got back to regular, but I just realized I'm going to quit coffee. So I'm going cold turkey. I'm going to have a headache. One's kind of already forming. It's coming. But I know after I get over this hump, I'll be okay. Because I just realized that was a habit that I don't feel serves me. So let's see, what's another one? So checking my apps a million times a day, obviously that does not serve me at all. So one of the things I'm going to do is to set timers on my phone for those apps. That is something you could do. You can set some timers when you hit a limit of like, okay, you've been on Instagram 15 minutes today, cut off, no more, you can't come back. But the key to the app timers, you have to stick to them. There's a button you can click to ignore them. Once you start doing that, you've made a new habit. So if you decide, if you're listening to me, you're like, oh my gosh, Katie, I am addicted to my phone too. I need to be on it less. I want to set some app timers. It doesn't matter if you have Android or Apple, they have them. It's just different places. You got to find them. Google is your friend. So just go to Google, learn how to set app timers. It's really amazing on how much time you can save in your day and how much time you'll find to actually do your side hustle if you do that. So that is something that I'm going to be doing. And, I also made the decision to stop watching General Hospital. I actually made that decision this weekend. And then I went to delete Hulu from my phone and I couldn't do it. Like my addiction to years and years of, watching the soap opera has been very strong, but I just don't feel like it serves me. And again, that's time that I could be spending doing other things that are probably a lot more beneficial for me personally and for my life. And I just, if you like a soap opera and you watch soap operas, no judgment, I'm not saying you have to quit that, but just for me personally, I just realized that that's not the best use of my time. And that's something that really doesn't serve me and I probably should get rid of. So anyways, this weekend I chickened out. I didn't delete it, but this morning, man, I got rid of General Hospital. So those are some of the things, when I looked at my habits, I'm like, okay, brushing and flossing serves me, right? Staying connected with my parents serves me. Taking good care of my dog serves me well. Taking my medication serves me well. But then those other things that I decided really don't serve me, I have decided to get rid of. So the coffee, the General Hospital, the checking my phone a gazillion times a day. So the whole purpose of auditing your habits is it helps you to realize what are these things we're doing on autopilot without thinking about it, and what tweaks do we need to make to it? What things do we need to get rid of? What things do we need to add? What types of, maybe healthy habits or good habits for our personal selves, for our business lives, do we need to add? So some of the new habits that I decided I was going to implement is I want to be consistent on my bedtime. I want to try to go to bed between 9 and 9:30 just because it's just how I roll. I know that's probably way early for most of you, but I tell people I like to sleep in backwards. I'd much rather go to bed early than sleep in, and part of it's because my body doesn't let me sleep in. And I also want to consistently wake up at 5 a.m. because I want to get my morning routine back. My morning routine that I'm used to doing, which I love: wake up, drink plenty of water, take time to pray, to read some type of professional development or personal development book that's going to really help me, personally, professionally, to grow and just feel better about myself. Sometimes if I'm not reading a professional development book, I'll be reading the Bible. I also like to take that time to journal, to write down things that I'm grateful for. Being, grateful and recognizing all the amazing things in our lives goes a long way. It's so easy to get caught up in the negatives or to feel like, oh my gosh, nothing is, great. Depending on if you watch the news a lot or depending on your social circle. But for me, it's really important to actually write down those small things that I'm grateful for. And they could be big things, they can be small things, but that's just something that helps keep me grounded. And then also exercise. I need to really make sure that I put a priority on exercise. So for me, if I go to bed early enough, I can wake up at 5 a.m., do those things that fill me, move my body, drink water, journal, be grateful, build my mind, spend time with my God, then I feel good. I feel better about myself. And before the day even starts, I'm like, okay, I've got this. I'm ready to rock and roll. I've got the right mindset. My body feels good. I'm ready to take on this day. And that's something that's really important to me and something I've done for years. And again, with the pandemic, it's drifted away. So I'm bringing that back. So other consistent habits that I want to include is making sure that I'm planning and cooking dinners every night, not relying on just buy and takeout, making sure that I am blocking my schedule. I've got some other things in here I'm not going to go over because I just realized I've hit over the 15-minute mark and I try to keep these episodes short. But that's just a little sneak peek into what I did actually on a flight from Orlando to Denver. I had a connection from Denver back to Southern Oregon, but I actually did that in the air. I wrote down my habits and I audited them. Does it serve me? Does it not? I'm going to get rid of this. I'm going to add these habits that will really help me again, personally, professionally. So I hope this was kind of helpful, thinking about ways that we can look at our habits and audit them. And I'm going to encourage you to audit your habits as well. This is a really easy exercise and I found it really valuable. So what I want you to do, your action items for today, is I want you to audit your habits. So I want you to just grab a piece of paper, or you can even grab your phone, right? You got notes in there. And I want you to write down all the habits that you have. Just think about what are these things I do consistently every single day. Now, again, you can write down things like I let out my dog, I brush my teeth, I put on clean clothes. It's okay, write those down, because sometimes we're like, oh, what do I do every day? Get it out of your head, get it on paper, write them all down. Even those things that maybe you don't want to admit you do every day, if you're addicted to the phone like me, or if you watch a soap opera like me, that's okay, no judgment here. And honestly, who's going to see your paper? You're probably not going to be on a podcast sharing with everyone like what I'm doing right now. So no worries about it, just write it all down. Then, once you have your list, go through and audit. Ask yourself, does this serve me? Yes or no? If it serves you, keep it. Keep doing that wonderful habit. If it doesn't serve you, I would highly encourage you, put a line through it, scratch it off, commit to getting rid of that habit. Again, that could be maybe deleting an app from a phone, setting limits on your phone, maybe keeping your phone in another room if you're negative habits around using a phone. Whatever it is, find a way to kind of force yourself to get rid of that habit. And then in place of the ones you got rid of, add in habits that you wish you had, habits that you want to have, habits like, working on my side hustle, spending time to dream about what I want to do, spending time to work on that side hustle. If you already have a side hustle and, maybe it's, I want to consistently write every day, or, I want to consistently reach out to find clients, whatever it is that you do. Because I know as side hustlers, we're all doing things that are a little different and so cool, but, add those habits that you want to start doing. So hope that makes sense. I hope it's clear. I want each and every one of you, take some time today. Don't wait till tomorrow. Take the time, write down all your habits, then audit them. Do they serve you or do they not? Get rid of them if they don't serve you. You don't got time for that. And then add in some good habits that will serve you, because your habits make you. And when you think of your side hustle and your life and what you want to be doing, you want to make sure that you are doing habits that are consistently helping you to level up and not just keep you to where, keep you down, keep you in that place you don't want to be. So I hope this was helpful. And yeah, thanks for listening, and go ahead and join me next week. Again, one of the habits I'm going to create is creating podcast episodes on a weekly basis. So I'm looking forward to chatting with you next week. Take care, guys. Bye. Thanks so much for listening to the podcast, guys. Be sure to head on over to the Dietitian Side Hustle website at dietitiansidehustle.com and check out our coaching page to learn about all the ways that we can work together. Have an amazing day, and I'm so proud of you for taking the initiative to listen to this podcast. Now go out there and get it done. Bye, guys.